Welcome, dear friends, to Cardiac Radio at 11 p.m., nourishing our souls with one more Immortal Messages. Immortal Messages is based on the book Psychophonic Instructions, a book that may be very transformative. These illuminated minds came from the beyond through Chico Xavier to teach us about immortality. There are messages from several different spirits, including Emmanuel, André Luiz, Dr. Dias da Cruz, Bezerra de Menezes, May, and many others. Today, we're going to learn something more about mediumistic meetings. Yes, it's the return of a brother. His name is Efigênio Victor. He comes as a spiritist who discarnated and wants to teach us more. Pencil and paper for you, because this message brings specific information about the setting. You can see my background right here. If you're listening to this, you only will be able to watch it in the video. It's a mediumistic meeting. This was a drawing by Projeto Imagem. It's a project from Brazil. It's a project from Brazil that was based on several books, and this one portrays a scene from the book In the Realms of Mediumship. And as you can see, mediumistic meetings are like this in Spiritism. As you can see, a table, books for instruction, yes, mediums, the director of the meeting, the people who are sustaining the current, and the discarnate entities. In this case, you can see the illuminated spirits represented in white that are coordinating it all. This meeting is very organized. In Spiritism, that's how we set it up. It's nothing to do with craziness, mysticism. No, it's very tangible. And today, you and I are going to learn more about it. Are you ready? No? You may be asking, why do I need to know about this? I am suffering, Vanessa, suffering my life. The pandemic is making me suffer. And you know why we suffer? Because we didn't educate our mediumship either. Yes, mediumship has everything to do with this pandemic. Why? Because we have not educated our emotions. We have not educated our thoughts. We have not educated our minds to be better co-creators, mediums. I'll give you an example. You may be feeling greater despair than you have imagined because you're not alone. You're picking up on so many people who are feeling despair or sadness or whatever else. So mediumship has everything to do with the current times. It has everything to do in the aspect that we are on earth temporarily. Though people have the illusion that they're going to live and live and live like for immortality. We will, but not the physical body. This physical body here cannot go on. Life goes on, but the physical body recycles on earth. Yes, and then we'll need another body. That's the nature of things. We need to think about death every day. Do you agree? Do you agree? We need to think about death every day? Yes, we do. Death is not the end. It's the way back home. But you don't want to die now, right? Good. No, you want to stay. Great. But we need to contemplate, because when we go back home, we need to carry everything that we need and say, I graduated. Incarnating, reincarnating, it's like school. We come here, we learn, we do internships, and we achieve certain milestones of our spiritual development. And then we go back home. Yay, hug family members, recharge, prepare, apply for a new reincarnation. And then when we are here, we can't complain about the tests, the exams, The effort we need to make. Homework. Yes, we need to do homework every day. Do you like homework? No. We need to appreciate homework. It's so good to be instructed, to instruct ourselves and educate ourselves. To instruct is to acquire knowledge. To educate is to absorb this knowledge and apply in ourselves. All right? Ready, friends? Today, we're going to welcome Efigênio Victor. He's going to come. And Arnaldo Rocha says he came on October 7th, 1954. And he brought information of great interest to those who are helping the discarnated. Efigênio Victor was a former spiritist worker from the city of Belo Horizonte. He was friends with Arnaldo Rocha, and through psychophonic instructions, he delivered the message about mediumistic meetings. You ready? I'm not going to read it all because it's long. It's a 3-page long message, but we're going to extract main parts. He begins by saying, a militant spiritist that I was, often conducting mediumistic sessions, I wished that some of the discarnate companions who brought me would bring me news of the beyond as precise and clear as possible, starting from the atmosphere that I gathered over or share. So he is telling us that when he was incarnated, he often sat in these mediumistic meetings and wanted messages from the beyond, okay? Now, disengaged from the physical body, but yet carrying all moral perfections, I'll try to comment on our landscape of service in order to strengthen it in the building we're called to rise. So now he's going to make a comment and we're going to learn from him what happens on the beyond. You'll be surprised. He says, as you are aware, we operate here on the basis of matter, but in another vibrational mode. There is matter in the spiritual realm, though it's a different density. By God's mercy, we possess our headquarters for work in a spiritual city that is located in the upper regions of the earth, or more properly, in the lower regions of heaven. Gradually, humanity will understand that there are other ranges of life on the planet with the help of scientific and positive data. And just as there exists for human service, right? We have our activities on the ethereal soil in the highest sphere with its special chemical properties and obeying the laws of plasticity and characteristic density. Okay. He says the following. As it happens to other sanctuaries of our faith, guided by the devotion of the good, together with the higher plane, they keep diligent and selfless assistant teams. And they are small, but they are as an emergency room, okay? Like an emergency room. With the supervision and cooperation of a vast body of collaborators, including doctors, religious friends, like Catholic priests, evangelical ministers, spiritist mediums, who are discarnated, and magnetizers, nurses, guards, health assistants, and we have various tasks of a permanent nature. So you see that the team of a mediumistic meeting is very diverse. It has different types, different specialties. It's a multidisciplinary team. A mediumistic meeting is multidisciplinary. Our meeting is guaranteed by 3 protective magnetic zones. So you see how a preparation of a mediumistic meeting is intense. 3 magnetic zones of protection. The first one, the guards. that protect, that guard the assembly and those discarnated who were joined the task of that night. The second one encloses a larger circle in which dozens of friends gather here in a position of need to search for help and enlightenment. And the third one surrounds the building with the vigilance of efficient sentinels, because beyond we have a compact mob, the mob of brothers and sisters who cannot yet share our effort in the learning of the gospel more closely. This multitude resembles that which we often see in front of Catholic Spiritist Protestant temples having a temporary incapacity to participate in the worship of the faith. So we have this inner circle that is guarded, and this discarnated who are taking care of the works. The second is about the people who are going to receive help, and the third is about the guards who are taking care of the external part of the center or any religious temple, because they are guarding from the spirits, the mob, the group of spirits that do not want us to do that liberating activity. So there is protection. Right next to the direction of our activities, there is a large part of the spiritual staff that preserves the magnetic defensive lines. So we have those who protect the center magnetically. At the front of the table, forefront, the ones who are in struggle and are going to be receiving help. On the opposite direction of the access door to the room, we have two cabinets with relief beds in which the service is extended. So they have particular rooms with treatment beds. Between the two, there's a large electronic retention network designed for the protection and control of rebellious and headstrong discarnates, a network that is an example of the many that from the spiritual life inspired modern medicine in the treatment of electroshock. So you see, he's revealing to us that electrical shock came from the spiritual realm. It's a technique that is used. And then the incarnates, medical, scientific people absorbed that idea and created that technique, which is still used, though with a lot of mercy nowadays in psychiatric hospitals, right? And in our house, as it is organized to develop the fraternal work, in which it strives in favor of the companions who did not find after death nothing but their own disturbances. Now, he's going to talk about something quite, it's a revelation, I think, unique. Pointing out in a very short way the sector of our movement, we must remember that above the common earth crust, we have an atmospheric belt that we classify as dense belt with a depth of approximately 50 kilometers. And beyond that, what we call light belt. So there is a dense belt of 50 kilometers, and then beyond it, a light belt with approximately 950 kilometers, and adding 1,000 kilometers above the sphere in which you presently breathe. In that space, in that great aerial world, we find multiple copies of discarnate spirits, along with several species of subhuman creatures in mental development in the direction of humanity. There is no space where that is not inhabited. Like we see fish in water, We see plants, we see rocks, we see humans, and we see discarnate spirits also inhabited in between things we cannot see. So our Earth's crust in that space, right, as he says, in that great aerial space, it's a world where many other beings live as well, the discarnates. Millions of spirits feed on the atmosphere of the Earth, sometimes lingering there for a long time, in contemplation of their visions and creations, in which they habitually immobilize themselves in the manner of the kelp that nourishes itself, absorbing the principles of the sea. Well, where do you think the lower zones are? On the Earth's crust. It's talking about this space. Not only, but that's also one thing. My friends, for spiritists, this carnation may come as a great surprise, because beyond the grave, we continue in the mental creations we have inspired in the existence of the world. Pause, super pause, mental creations. Of all things he's saying, is that in these mediumistic meetings, we're going to recycle, remodel our mental creations. Okay, pen and paper. Pen and paper. Mental creations. If you could draw your mental creations, patterns of mental creations, what were they? What would they be? Because when we discarnate, we're going to carry them. But Vanessa, I don't know what they are. Okay, self-knowledge. So important, right? So, mental creations. What are my most common thoughts and feelings? I constantly thinking about blank. I constantly feel blank. What are the names? What are the pictures that come to your mind? We need to know, because there are people who spend a whole life with those mental pictures. What are yours? The central themes, as André Louis shows to us from the book Action and Reaction. The central themes. This morning, I was hearing a colleague in Spiritism talking about Dr. Bezerra de Menezes in one of his books, Psychographed by Chico Xavier, in which he said, an awakened conscience does not mean a free conscience, a liberated conscience. So interesting. We talk so much about being aware of our spiritual reality, awareness, but we forget that being aware is not the ultimate level. It's about what we do with that awareness. Knowing of this does not suffice. We need to feel it. We need to apply it, right? So we're talking about awakening our conscience and liberating ourselves. By the way, I would recommend that you watch and or listen to the program on Saturdays at 1:30 p.m. It's on the book Liberation by André Louis through Chico Xavier. Sunshine and Carol Correa together lead us into the reading of the book and the commentary. I think you're going to be delighted, because that book is true liberation. Since Dr. Bezerra de Menezes talks about liberation, we need to be aware in order to free ourselves, right? It's just like being in prison, having the key and not using the key to open the door. Spiritism brings us the key, but if I don't open the door, it's not going to work, right? So, in that sense, Spiritism is a new concession from the Lord to our multi-millennial evolution. See, I'm telling you, Spiritism is a new concession from the Lord to our multi-millennial evolution. It's a concession, and people, what are you doing with this gift, Mamma Mia? Using, abusing, throwing away, disregarding. When people don't embrace Spiritism as it is, they haven't studied enough. Because when you deepen yourself, feeling it, you feel like in heaven. You can be anywhere, and it brings you joy, joy, joy. It brings you so much strength. And it's so all-embracing that we're never going to be conflicted about other religions. We're not going to be conflicted about other philosophies, because we see in everything the universality. It's so amazing. And believe it or not, Iphigênio talks about liberation. He says, in our doctrine, we find a vast field of liberation, but also of deep responsibility. A field of liberation, but responsibility. And the greatest work we are to do is our inner improvement, so that we are not wandering in the darkness of useless hours. Because only those who demand death, sustaining higher values of self-improvement, can adjust to their own evolution without sacrifice. Okay? So he says, regarding religious experiences, very few priests remain priests when they discarnate. Did you know that? That's new. You think a priest discarnates here, he continues being a priest? No. Very few pastors, ministers, continue pastors in the afterlife. And rare mediums of doctrinal formations remain mediums, since the titles of service on earth involve duties of accomplishment with which we almost always avoid, with the habit of expecting sanctification of others prior to our own improvement when referring to the moral construction of virtue. What does that mean? Like André Luiz. He was a physician. When he came to the spiritual realm, he's no longer a physician. Oh, yeah. You are not. You're not going to be treated as a physician. Oh, the president of a country, and you think you continue being president? No, you don't. That was a temporary task that doesn't define you. But we will retain it when we sanctified that title. Vanity, huh? So tricky. Vanity is so tricky. Because many people believe, even spiritists, you're a medium here, and when you go there, oh, I was a medium, and I was a counselor, and I was this. And they're like, okay, so here there's nothing to do with it. But Chico Xavier, when he discarnated, he was Chico Xavier. He was not the medium, he was Chico Xavier. He sanctified everything he did. He never asked for recognition. He was despised. He was challenged. He had hardships, health issues. He donated everything, even the works he's done. And kept nothing to himself. When he discarnated, who was he? The medium, Chico Xavier? The prodigy child? Because he was. Was he the amazing Brazilian humanitarian? No, he was Chico Xavier. Above it all, disciple of Jesus. The true disciple, the true follower. Ah, Vanessa, that's Chico Xavier. Okay. As long as we keep doing this attitude of like, oh, but it's Jesus, it's Chico, we're not going to progress. Because we're in the denial, like, not me. No, I am still in the luxury of doing 10,000 things. No. We need to comply. The coronavirus is coming, knocking at people's doors and saying, excuse me, who are you? Or you're still feeling angry. You're still holding grudges. You're still dwelling with people. You're still cultivating a lot of vanity. Okay, come here, I want to talk to you. And then he goes, has a conversation with us. You don't trust life? Oh, really? Yeah? Okay, so let's talk. And he goes and talks. And some people can't with it. There's no time. And past the coronavirus, because it's going to pass, other things will come to shake us up and say, come on, cleanse the heart, clarify the mind, dutiful hands. As he's saying to us, death is simply a step beyond physical experience. Simple, simply a step. No spectacular dazzle, no immediate transformation, no miracle. And yes, ourselves with our deficiencies and defections, hopes and dreams. That is why I propose to speak to you in this first psychophonic visit of the commitment we made accepting our pure and free faith. Because in a renewing movement as great, as enlightening, as comforting as ours, it is very easy to begin, very difficult to proceed, and only in rare circumstances we're able to win the crown of victory for the task at hand. We are spiritists, whether incarnated or discarnated. In front of us, life unfolds. Do not forget that if the significance of our faith is great as we travel the world, the importance of it is much greater after we lose the physical garment. On another occasion, I will return to talk more. Let's go back to this ultimate sentence. It is easy to begin. I agree. Many people are enthusiastic. I want to help. I want to help. Yeah, many. Very difficult to proceed. Yes, very difficult. I'll say it here, Cardiac Radio. We're turning 9 years of Cardiac Radio this year, July 4th. What a blessing. We began with one program a week. When we didn't have Facebook, we didn't have videos. It was audio and only audio. I couldn't see the audience. It's hard. You can't measure much. But the mentor said, keep going, keep going, keep going. And people ask, how many people are listening? And I said, you know, guys, we do the good and we don't measure. We just go, 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 go. Imagine if we were like, oh, I can't see. Oh, how many people? We wouldn't be here today. And today, no matter how many platforms Cardiac Radio has, because we are on Tuning Radio, Spotify, Mixcloud, so many. I even forget SoundCloud and Radio Co and this and Facebook, Instagram. There's so many platforms. If we put it all together, the website, we won't be able to measure. We won't be able to measure the extent of it all. because it's greater than that. We're talking about reaching the discarnate realm. The spirit mentors of Kardec Radio show to us that right now when we're speaking, this is being broadcast to the spiritual realm too. And the crowd is much bigger there. Because 2/3 of our population on earth is discarnated. So it's easy to begin, difficult to proceed, and rare, he says, rare those who win the crown of victory like Chico Xavier. But he's not the only one. I'm sure many, Dr. Marlene Nobre, and many people who discarnated, and we don't know even their names because they kept their works anonymously to the world, but faithful to their communities. Look at Santa Marina as portrayed with the name Celia in the book 50 years later by Emmanuel. She's Santa Marina, Saint Marina of Alexander in Egypt. Go there, read the book 50 years later. She's a saint. She's best friends with the governors of the earth. Who is she? Oh, I don't know. Does it matter? If God knows, if the governors of the earth knows you, you're it. Huh? It's like tag, you're it. And I'm saying this with love in my heart. She's the one. Oh, who is she? Doesn't matter. If the world knows, the governors of the earth knows. And that's all that matters. So who wants the crown of victory? What do we need to do? When you discarnate, and I discarnate, how will I know if I'm going to receive the crown of victory? Does it matter? It does, because it's about graduation. You graduated or not? Have to repeat. Oh, no. It says here, self-improvement. It says self-improvement. That's the key word he's saying to us today. Self-improvement. I'm not doing this program for you only. It's for myself too. Because when I'm studying this, I'm like, whoa, oh my gosh. And I am tweaking my screws in my head saying, calibrating, tuning in. So in the next 24 hours, you're going to feel it's a very artistic exercise. And I say this because you're going to visualize Jesus as the artist. Okay? And you as the instrument. And we're going to visualize every day. When we wake up, tuning. There is the tuning. Jesus is tuning us up. And, oh, Master, today I'm calibrated with you. And then I go by my day. If you feel yourself off, please come, tuner. Jesus the tuner. We've just studied Hail Christ with Emmanuel when Basilio was the tuner. Emmanuel in that life was Basilio. And then we learn the tuner. Go, Jesus, I know you're the tuner. Please come, calibrate me. And then in prayer, we calibrate ourselves and go on playing the songs of God. Harmony. So we're going to aim at harmony in words, in thoughts, in feelings, in actions. And when you feel yourself off, call Jesus the tuner. Okay? That's our exercise so we can keep preparing ourselves to fulfill the learning experiences and the achievements, the milestones in this reincarnation. So when we discarnate, graduation time. Okay? That's the invitation for us today. Let us be grateful to God for this moment and spend your day with Jesus the tuner to calibrate yourself. And as we calibrate ourselves with Jesus, we can play in greater harmony. A big hug to you, dear friends. Until tomorrow, when we come back in more Immortal Messages here at Kardec Radio, always, and we can sing it, always, always nourishing our souls. Thank you.